Hey y'all, welcome back. We're still doing this stuff. Videotapes and stuff, backstory about Weaver. Video began with footage of the outside of a building, then entered the building. Was it day or night outside the building? It was day. The camera exited the building again. Was it day or night outside the building? It was night. How often did it happen? Oh, how often did it happen? A lot. Dozens of times. It went on for years. We even thought about asking the police to look into it. But it's so hard to locate a pirate signal. I mean, it could come from any direction, you know? It's all just waves. Exactly. It's all just waves. Question. The camera passed through several doors with inscribed labels. Please write down the sounds you heard as the video passed through the doors with the following inscriptions. Travel. Footsteps. Nourishment. Sort of clink, like coins falling into a cup. Sleep. A diesel engine idling. Weaver's video showed up again right before the flood. Actually, I think it might have been the last thing we ever broadcast. Okay. Right. Okay, location updating effect on emotional memory. Subject is measuring near the edge of the useful range of our standard units of melancholy. We may need to reject this data. His subject is so hard to interpret, they're too disoriented by this point. Plus, it's hard to account for ambient grief from the last test. Can we just write too disoriented and go on to the next one? Damn, this is taking a while. Daryl will be heartbroken if this is the only box we get through today. The poor thing. He's like a paper butterfly. I would say a moth. Please don't tell me I have to do the same thing with each character. Oh, look, can you read the date? Damn, I can't read it either. It may not have been current. I remember for a while we had a calendar up that was like years behind. I think Daryl liked the picture. What was it? Best friends. Every month there was a different pair of animals that were friends. That's adorable. I think I'm going to be sick. You don't remember that? That weird intern brought it in from home. What was his name? Who? Oh, you remember. He was always like... what did we make fun of him for? Damn, he's almost completely gone from my brain. So many interns coming and going then. I guess I didn't bother remembering names. I wonder who was working back when this was recorded. Is there a tape of the monitoring room? Yeah, here it is. Oh, before we check it out, did she flip the calendar forwards or backwards? Backward. Oh, weird. They usually flip it forward. Kitty. Hello? There she goes. Wait, do you think... did she follow them out? Oh, well, here's the last extended monitoring tape from the dock when they left. Oh. See, told you he was one of those distillery guys. I guess you were right. These other guys came to pick him up for work, maybe? I don't like how they all hang out together. It's creepy. We hang out together and work together. Yeah, but it's not They're more like... They're like more than coworkers. I don't know. I just get this awful feeling whenever I see them. Like I knew them once, but not anymore. Like when they make up a dead person to look like an old photograph of themselves. Sort of familiar, sort of strange. Yeah, exactly. There ought to be a word for that. Bye, Kitty. They look like nice enough people. I'm sure she's very happy with them. Yeah. So, this has been a bit of a memory trip for you, huh? I bet you didn't expect these old tapes to stir up so much. How does it feel for these people to come up again? Weaver Marquez and Wise Will? And what was your boyfriend's name? The one who died in college? Charlie! I was right! It is the same Charlie. Charlie, yeah. It's kind of a bittersweet experience, actually. Like when you're looking at old photographs of people who've died, who moved away. People that are gone. Gone, but not forgotten. No, not forgotten. You're right. I nailed it. I didn't remember so much else, but I remembered Charlie's name. No commentary this time, I see. Look at those look at those evils. Look at those easels and tables on the beach over there. They call it an open air gallery or probably something more upscale like an al fresco galleria. They say it's a popular design in foreign cities like Paris and New York. That may be true. The appeal is clear enough, I guess. Anyone can wander in and out. There aren't any walls or doors. There's no roof either. Just kind of a thin cloth membrane. Not quite a sheet or a tarp, but more like a drape of rolled out spider web. Looking like it might bunch up and dissolve if it ever got rained on. No concern down here for rain. Everyone thinks they're inside just because they can't see the sky. But it's a microclimate down here, and it surely does rain. Right now, they're exhibiting some intimate photographs of small-town life. There's one of a small girl playing in a puddle. She's got her back to the camera and she's fussing with something, looking at her hands. Maybe she's stuffing a message in a bottle or folding a paper boat. Reviews have been good. It's a popular show, probably because of its relevance. The town depicted in these photos was recently flattened to make way for a big museum project. Oh, the Museum of Buildings. Yeah. Or whatever it's called. I think that was it. Ezra helped Cate forage for mushrooms. Obviously, we gotta do that one. Like, obviously. A grove. Mushrooms are cool. I like mushrooms. More in the abstract than in the practical sense. Sometimes they're okay to eat. What? She lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she was following directions. No smoking within 25 feet of a hospital entrance. Cate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside. She holds it up for Ezra to examine. So she stood by a hot dog cart parked at the edge of a sidewalk. Plurocybella porrigens. Common name is angel wings. Isn't that pleasant? They have a delicate springy texture and they're tasty, like sweet moss. Would you like a bite? Okay. Ezra takes a small bite and ruminates. What do you think? It does taste like moss. Personally, I like to be able to tell where my food came from, by flavor alone. I mean, to taste my surroundings. I like to taste my surroundings, I mean. Keeps me connected to the whole thing. My mushroom hunting mentor told me it's useless to pretend to know mushrooms. They escape your erudition. The more you know about them, the less sure you feel about identifying them. She taps the cover of a small red book she's carrying. That's why I always bring my favorite guidebook. Points at a small mushroom growing in the dirt. Oh, here's an important one to recognize, though. Look, see the sort of greenish pallor of the cap? Amanita phalloides. Phalloides. Amanita means mushroom, and phalloides means... never mind. I would guess something to do with penis. Can you eat it? Only once. It's deadly poisonous. Deathcap, that's its common name. It's killed a lot of people, this little mushroom, including a few Roman emperors. It's a revolutionary. Ha ha! Even the Buddha died from eating a mushroom. When he was very old. That's just what they do. Clear away old things, make room for new things. Pretty important, right? I always thought they deserved a little more respect. Would you like to help me look for a few more? I have a sort of shopping list. Great, actually just grab any mushrooms that catch your eye and throw them in this bag. Let me know when you're done and we'll see what we've got. Have fun! That's the second rule of mushroom hunting. The first rule is, ask Cate before eating anything, okay? Probably shouldn't do that. Flashing lights and all that. Cate examines some tree roots. She spots a couple of intriguing growths along the roots of the tree, a speckled white ball and a cluster of softly glowing amber caps. The hot dog vendor tried to strike up a conversation with some immediately too personal questions. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he considered it part of his job, she thought, to offer his customers some kind counsel. Maybe it was to salve his guilty conscience for selling junk food outside of a hospital. Cate examines the glowing amber caps. The mushrooms are slick, sticky to the touch, like they're covered in smoldering honey. Cate leaves the tree roots. Cate kneels in the grass. She parts the grass with her garden knife, studiously combing the ground. Had she ever tried alternative medicines? Acupuncture? Homeopathy? Ayurveda? I don't know what that is. Magical thinking? She said she'd never heard of any of those things. He fished a stray hot dog out of the pickle jar. There are no mushrooms in the grass. Cate tries to wipe some of the mud off her boots. Didn't find anything? That's okay. I didn't find anything either. You never know when or how they'll appear with mushrooms. There are a few species that can be cultivated, but mostly the conditions that make them grow are just too complicated and obscure to reproduce. They're one of the only truly wild things left in this world. I mean, even the weather is more or less under the influence of human industry at this point, right? So, you have a brother out there somewhere? Julian, he's gonna come find me in the morning after the work is done. Yep, we work pretty hard. We used to spend part of each night looking for my folks, but now we pretty much just work. But maybe that'll change now. I have some new friends. Do you have a family? I left home when I was very young, not much older than you, actually. I bounced Years later, my mother got sick and I tried to visit her, but it was too late. She was all spaced out on fevers and morphine. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot aboard the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me now. I guess if nobody's family, then everyone's family. Haha. Ezra pokes around the base of a cypress tree. Brownish clump of mushrooms feathers out from the base of the cypress tree. A few feet above, several pale blue puffs cling to the trunk. He didn't like to play in the house. It was always too cold. It seemed to store up the cold at night, then slowly discharge it into his bones during the day, while the sun bounced feebly off the windows. He liked to play in the woods behind the house. The woods were full of deer. Dad said the deer liked best to live on the edges of forests. Recent development in the area had created a lot of fresh edges, so they massed here and sometimes ran into the road. Ezra examines the blue puffs, prods the pale orbs with a stick, and it cracks open a little, releasing a fine dust into the air. He felt like the world outside the woods had somehow slipped away while he was gone. And now there was nothing but the woods. He kept going. Ezra carefully removes the puffball and puts it in his bag. Ezra closes his eyes and listens to the water and the distant clicking of bats. He tripped on a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of a sycamore tree, listening to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm, then louder, closer, and his hair stood on end, and there was a bird. These are the only trees in this whole cave. Who planted them? Right, not many trees down here in the dark. I know these are some kind of cypress, and they were definitely planted deliberately, by someone who... Guess I don't know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be kind of a memorial to something? Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. Ezra kicks the dirt. Months later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. She thought it was mostly bullshit, but found the author's notes on the unpredictability of mushrooms immediately compelling. Spiritual, even. She started collecting mushrooms on hikes, never eating them, just collecting, identifying, and discarding. Eventually, she connected with the Lexington Mycological Society and began to study in earnest the medicinal uses of fungi. It's a mystery. I'll search for clues. She put out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors, trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to be mended. Ezra looks around the shore. Steps on a plastic bottle. A wooden post projects from the sand nearby. Picks up the plastic bottle. There's a scrap of paper inside the bottle. Ezra takes it out and reads it. Eggs, flour, Chardonnay, laxative, paper towels, scratch ticket. Examines a large stone monument. The monument is covered in lichen and painted text. Inspects the lichen. Colorful lichen coats the surface of the monument, mixing with painted graffiti, in some places indistinguishably. Ezra inspects the contents of his pockets. Alright, what have you got? There's some weird colorful moss growing on the stone face monument. Ah, that's called lichen. It's actually pot fungus. It's a sort of weird hybrid. Not really my area of expertise, but it has some useful medicinal properties, and some of it is poison. The usual. Haha. It's beautiful though, isn't it? What do you think that monument is for? Not sure anyone remembers. Found this message in a bottle. Looks like somebody's grocery list. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will were here. He'd have some local history for us. We can ask him back on the boat. Cate and Ezra look up at an old battleship drifting by. Oh, there it is, the Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. Oh shit, look at the time. It's time to call the episode. Thank you for watching, y'all. I love you very much. I'll see you next time. Remember, Black Lives Matter, defund the police, and look at the cats on board that ship. There's so many. That's nice. Bye-bye!